Today I'll talk about data classes in Python and how it can save you tons of time. At first I'm going to start with a simple class definition in Python, and then we're going to change it into a data class. I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of data classes, and finally show you how you can make data classes immutable. So the first thing we're going to do is create a student class, and it's going to have the init constructor. Let's give it some attributes. We're going to give it a student ID and age, and let's just keep it to those two. And then when we're going to do student ID equals student ID, and then we're going to assign the age to age. All right, the way you create objects is like this. So you can just do a student, and then you give it an ID and then an age. Let's create another student. That's gonna be ID 200 and age 25. Let's just print out the two students. There you go. And you can see for a class, when you print out the object of a class, you just get the memory location where the object is located. So this is a simple class in Python. As you can see, you need to define the init function. Printing out the object does not give you anything meaningful. It just gives you the memory address. And at will, you can change the attribute. So you can do something like student2.age equals 25. This is going to work. So you can just change the attributes as you go along. All right, so for data classes, you usually use a data class when your class just encapsulates a bunch of data about something. In this case, we have student, and our student class contains all the data related to that student. So this is a good example for a data class. All you need to do to make it a data class is, let me have it over here. So let me just go ahead and delete these. Right, there you go. And create a data class, right? So I'm gonna call it student data class. And now let's import some functions. So I will be needing from data classes, import data class. So we need the data class function. And then I will need a list object. We can do this one later on actually. So for now, let's just import the data class function. So for our student data class, the attributes, if it's a data class, what you do is just that. You don't need an init function, you just do that. So that's all. Now you're already telling it student data class is a class, and then these are gonna be its attributes. And to make it into a data class, all you have to do is add a @data class. And data class is the function that you imported from the data classes package. This is all you need for a data class. So any of the init functions, you don't have to do them anymore. Now let's instantiate two objects. Let's just do a student data class. Let's do 100 and age 25. Let's have another over here, which is gonna be ID 200 and age 30. And let's print them out. So we're gonna print out both 1 and 2. So you already see the first benefit, where instead of giving you the memory address of the object, you get a good representation without needing to write a wrapper function. So with very little code, you can already get a good representation of the object when you're printing it out, which is a very good benefit. Now let's try to mutate the data. So let's do student data 2.age equals 20. Let's just do, I don't know, 42, 43. And you can do that. This is not complaining. However, when you're working with data classes, one of the requirements you might have at times is you make the data immutable. A very common use case is going to be you read some data from a database and then create a data class like a student data class where you encapsulate all the data. So you don't want the data to be modified. You want them to be immutable. You can do it very easily, where in the data class function or decorator over here, you can just give it frozen equals true By default, it's set to false. And now if we try to run it again, you get a frozen instance error that says cannot assign to field age. That's because we said that the class is immutable by adding the frozen equals true. So that's pretty much how data classes work. Of course, there's a lot more to it. I'm gonna link the documentation in the description below, so feel free to check it out. But hopefully the video did a good job to show you how you can turn a normal regular class in Python into a data class, and how you can instantiate objects, how the printing of those objects give you a very good representation, and how you can make your data immutable by just adding the frozen equals true field. So hopefully that was helpful. And if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get to you as soon as I can. With that being said, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.